What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, it's finally starting to feel like E3 season because yesterday we had a ton of live stream events announced from Sega, Sony, and Techland, all of which taking place this week. So we have a lot of stuff to go over there. Also, we do have to talk about a new report for Valve apparently developing their own Switch-like system that would allow you to take your Steam games on the go with you. And we also have some unfortunate news to go over for fans looking forward to Axiom Verge 2. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And we're going to start today with Xbox at E3 and Summer Games Mess. This is a list that Jeff Grubb will keep, kind of detailing and keeping things organized as best as he can for all of the different events happening over the next few months with E3 and Summer Games Fest, and then, of course, other publishers and developers kind of going rogue, as he says, and just having their events whenever they want. But he did talk in a live stream yesterday about Xbox and most likely when they'll be scheduling their own E3 showcase, which we should be hearing pretty soon. Like, Nintendo and Microsoft should start at least announcing plans for E3, any time now, since we're coming up on the event pretty quickly. But according to Jeff Grubb, we should be looking forward to Microsoft and their Xbox event that will be joint with Bethesda, by the way, on Sunday, June 13th, which is expected considering that's generally when Microsoft will hold their event, that Sunday when E3 is starting. They kind of kick things off for the most part, and they always have. Even when it was Nintendo and Sony there alongside of them, they would always go first. But this one will be interesting, like I said, because Bethesda will be with them doing this event. So Starfield, I assume, is going to be front and center, at least showing what Starfield exactly is. And then we have to have Halo Infinite reintroduced. Maybe Psychonauts 2 gets thrown in there, and then Forza Horizon 5, which apparently is coming out later on this year. So a lot to look forward to there, and unsurprisingly, it's going to be Sunday. Also, it looks like we're going to find out a lot more about Dying Light 2 this week because Techland sent out packages to different people online. They had like a poster with a UV light. When you would shine the light around, it would reveal a date. And then we got a trailer from Techland that did reveal that date online, and we can see it here. Are you dying to know more? May 27th, 2021, 12 p.m. Pacific time. That's twitch.tv/Techland. And, well, Dying Light 2 is interesting because when they first showed the gameplay of it, it looked super ambitious, looked very, very good, but the way they were describing it, it sounded massive for Techland to be tackling, and it's something I wanted to see a bit more of, but they did have to delay it indefinitely, and then recently they've doubled down on a 2021 release for this game, so I assume if they're going to be showing it here at the end of May, they're either going to show us 2021 once again, or they're going to hit us with that release date. It just depends on how far along things are, and if they're not ready to even commit to 2021, I still just wouldn't give us even a year at this point, because this is a game, like I said, that very easily could fall into 2022. So let's just see what they have right now, because what they showed us before in that larger gameplay section looked great, and I'm curious to see what it looks like now. Oh, and we had just talked about Virtua Fighter 5 as it was uploaded to the PlayStation Network, and we were hearing rumors about it possibly going to PlayStation Plus as soon as it was announced, and we can see that the game itself was announced. We're still waiting to hear about PlayStation Plus from Sony, but this from Sega over on Twitter saying, "Ready, go, Virtua Fighter 5 is back for an ultimate showdown, launching worldwide as a PlayStation 4 console exclusive next week on June 1st, 2021. It looks like there have been several changes made to it, but the one that really stuck out to me, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, is being built by Sega's Yakuza team and is using that series engine. That would be the Dragon engine. Launches on PS4 on June 1st, that according to Eurogamer.net. And I mean, obviously this is great for Virtua Fighter fans to see it come back and it being remade a new engine. We'll see how all of that holds up with the Dragon engine. It's interesting that it's exclusive to the PlayStation 4, which backwards compatibility should work fine on your PS5 as well. It's Sega being Sega, I guess, in that regard. But remember, Sony did make a pretty big investment in esports with Evo, so it makes sense why they might collaborate with Sega and bring a game like this to the PlayStation brand as an exclusive. But there it is, June 1st, and we'll wait to see what Sony has in store for us with PlayStation Plus for June. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with a couple more of these big live stream events that were announced yesterday. We just talked about about Techland showing off Dying Light 2 tomorrow, but it looks like we have a couple of other big live streams to look forward to. We'll start with Sony, though. We can head over here to Twitter. This from PlayStation saying State of Play returns Thursday, May 27th, with an extensive look at Horizon Forbidden West gameplay. They showed off this nice little title card there, the video. They say on their blog nearly 11 months ago. Wow, it's really been 11 months since we had the PS5 announced at that showing. We showed you the very first glimpse of Horizon Forbidden West during the PlayStation 5 showcase. And now we're excited to show more. This Thursday, May 27th, join us on a very special journey into new and uncharted lands. Starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time, please tune in at your leisure for a uniquely crafted countdown towards the main State of Play event, which starts at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I'm honestly unsure as what they're going to do in that time frame between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. That is a lot of time to fill. Maybe they'll do different developer interviews. They could even do like gameplay from Horizon, just Horizon Zero Dawn in general. We'll see what they have for us, but they say during the State of Play, we will debut the Horizon Forbidden West gameplay reveal. In this 20-minute exclusive segment, you'll be seeing about 14 minutes of brand new in-game action featuring our heroic protagonist Aloy, all captured directly on PlayStation 5. This reveal has been a true team effort, and we're very excited to show you what we have in store, whether you've been with us and Aloy since Horizon Zero Dawn, or are only just getting to know this incredible world. We want to share this huge milestone with you and cannot wait to see your favorite moments and reactions. So first of all, I do like this trend that Sony has been following where they just sit down and play the game. Like, that was the biggest thing of Ratchet and Clank very early on, obviously. We thought that game was going to come out even alongside of the PS5, but they kind of just sit down and they just walk us through parts of the game. They just play the game in front of us rather than rely on cinematic trailer after cinematic trailer after cinematic trailer, and then eventually gameplay gets out there. They just say, no, we're gonna set up this entire demo and show you this game with gameplay, which is good because we've kind of gotten away from that in the last generation or so and really relied on these cinematic trailers. So I'm very excited to see what they have here with Horizon Forbidden West. Now, the big thing here, obviously people were a bit disappointed to hear that it was a cross-generation game, meaning it will also be on PS4, and the idea of the game being held back by PS4 hardware is a concern that's been brought up. But if they show us this game running on PlayStation 5 hardware and it blows us away completely, yeah, I think people are going to forget that it's also a PS4 title here. And then we also have to hope that we get some kind of release date or even release year. Like, there's been thoughts of this game maybe falling to early 2022. I kind of think it's coming 2021, and this will be their big holiday game because Gran Turismo isn't going to be. God of War probably won't be, as we've barely seen anything with that. And they're ready to show us 14 minutes of gameplay here alongside of what I assume is going to be like 6 minutes or so of cinematics and kind of setting up the story and the mood of the game. So I'm hoping they have a release date. Otherwise, 2021 can be at the end of the gameplay session or the trailer they show to finish things out. And then we get a date on Twitter months later when they're more confident that the game's going to go gold. But I am excited to see this. Guerrilla obviously has some very impressive talent at their studio when it comes to visuals and gameplay and all this. So exciting stuff here for Horizon fans. And we also have another showcase to look forward to tomorrow, which we'll head over here to Twitter. This from Sonic the Hedgehog. Did someone say news? Tune in at 9 a.m. Pacific on May 27th for a first look at some of the projects, partnerships, and events for our Sonic 30th celebration. And we also had a video that was put out by Sega on the same Twitter handle that certainly prodded at the nostalgia bone there with showing old like Sonic games kind of through the years, and it was pretty cool to see that playing into the Sonic 30th anniversary. And this stream is going to be very interesting. Now, they're going to talk about partnerships, events, all these, like they'll do things outside of games, obviously. Collaborations for merchandise, and either TV shows, comics, maybe in the movie. So a lot of stuff there, but most of us are going to be interested in the games that they're going to show. And a lot of us are expecting the things that have technically already leaked, so a Sonic collection of some kind that might even include Sonic 3 with the music, I guess, reworked, as that's been a pretty hot topic when it comes to that game's re-release. And I guess some other older Sonic games. Hey, maybe they remaster Sonic 06 and they just throw it in there because why not? It's the 30th anniversary. We gotta cover all of our bases here. And then obviously the Sonic Colors remastered that was leaked out by a retailer. But then we get to the part that everyone's really curious about. What are they going to do with the new Sonic 3D game? Are they going to go with Sonic Forces 2? I hope not. Are they going to really lean into nostalgia and say, hey, you guys have been asking for it, here's Sonic Adventure 3? Because I think that would create a big buzz online, certainly a ton of hype. We'd still have to see the game, and the question of would Sonic Adventure still be good in 2021 or even 2022 if it's not necessarily ready for this holiday? That's another question, but I at least think the idea of doing a sequel to Sonic Adventure 2 would be really cool and would play into the overall anniversary. Either way though, exciting stuff to see. We have a lot to look forward to on the 27th. Sony, Sega, and Techland all showing stuff off, and then that's not even counting Dragon Quest that we have to look forward to later on tonight. So yeah, a lot of stuff about to happen in the next 24 hours, so get ready. Next up, let's talk about Valve and apparently a Switch-like handheld that they are currently working on and could even introduce to everyone later on this year. And we'll go over some of the events that led up to a big report being released by Ars Technica. We head over here to Twitter. This from Pavel saying Valve's Neptune controller shows up in latest Steam client beta again. It's named Steam Pal, Neptune name, and it has a Steam Pal games. And then from there, we can see George noticed that apparently there were a few extra sets that were added into the client system manager, saying, why would Steam have these features unless, of course, it's going to be part of something more than just an application on a PC, where we can see it says shut down system, suspend system, or restart system. That's interesting. You would think they would only need that if they were, well, making their own system. Well, then we get this report from Ars Technica exclusive. Valve is making a Switch-like portable gaming device. We can confirm some, but not all, of what's in store for the codenamed Steam Pal. In the Ars Technica report, they say the Steam Pal, whose name we're putting in scare quotes because we do not have confirmation of the device's final name, is an all-in-one PC with gamepad controls and a touchscreen. In other words, it looks and functions like a Nintendo Switch without removable Joy-Con controller functionality. They go on further to say that they'd be sourcing chips from AMD or Intel, as it appears that NVIDIA is off the table in that regard, and that this would have video out functionality to a monitor. Now, looking at the idea here, I think this makes a lot more sense than what we got with those Steam machines, because we had manufacturers coming in from everywhere trying to make a Steam machine that would catch on. But a lot of people said, well, I mean, for the price of these Steam machines, I could just technically build my own PC, and this has added functionality of being a device that you can take with you on the go, or just like a little handheld system, right, that you maybe play around the house. It's just an extra thing to have with your PC. That's how a lot of PC gamers even see the Switch right now, right? It gives you an extra functionality that you don't get from, you know, the desktop PC you built that stays in one place. So I think Valve, if they do this correctly, it could actually work for them. Now, they have to also figure out the marketing side of things, the pricing, the specs. Like, there's like certainly a tightrope that they have to walk here to make sure all of this works. Like, how much money would people pay for a Valve or Steam branded handheld PC that just does medium settings, 720, maybe 1080p, but it's interesting because we just talked about Gabe Newell kind of hinting at Valve games going to consoles, and said, oh, you'll probably find out more about that later on this year. I mean, this very well could be what he was referring to with Valve coming up with their own console. Also keep in mind, because Valve is creating the software or even the Steam OS that could then work with this hardware, they could make the user experience much better than some of these other third-party handheld PCs that may be powerful enough to run these games within reason. They just always feel clunky when trying to navigate around to get to those games. So we could see Steam end up coming out with a really cool way to navigate around through like big picture mode as an example, but one that's formed and molded to be more equipped to handle something like this new hardware that they'd be coming up with. It's interesting to see that Valve's own code is kind of revealing that they are doing things in the background with their own systems. So I like the idea of this because who knows, maybe Valve come up with some new ideas that even Nintendo can use and vice versa. I mean, that's really just how the overall handheld space continues to grow, as we have seen a lot of different companies attempt their own little mini PC handheld devices, and you see ideas being taken from all over the place, and we continue to kind of grow this section of the market. But I hope Valve is doing this because I think it'd be really interesting to see what they come up with, at what price point, and what specs, and if they're able to market it correctly. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Axiom Verge 2, which is a game that I see a lot of people talk about in different live streams whenever we go over like indie showcases or any of that. People always say they're looking forward to like Silksong, and they're looking forward to Axiom Verge 2. Well, it looks like you're going to be waiting a little bit longer for Axiom Verge 2, as we did have an announcement over on the website through the blog where Thomas Hapt kind of went over some issues that were going on with the game and really saying, hey, it's going to be a little longer. We can see this over on the website saying, I thought I was being really cautious and conservative when I posted toward the end of last year that Axiom Verge 2 would be delayed until the first half of 2021. I wanted to say Q1, but decided to hedge myself just in case. Well, I should have hedged a bit more. As you may have seen on IGN already, I regret to announce that I will need to delay the release of Axiom Verge 2 one more time to Q3 2021. I feel like I am channeling one of the heroes of the games industry, Mr. Iwata, when I ask you to please understand. I could go into a long spiel about why it's taking longer than I originally forecast, but I don't want to get too bogged down in technical details. Suffice it to say, the game will be better for the additional time, and I won't have to burn myself out crunching to hit a date that I set for myself. And obviously, there's not hundreds of developers working on this game. I think fans of the first one understand that it was like a passion project. Now we're going up here to Axiom Verge 2, and the game, I mean, from what we've seen so far, yeah, it looks really cool, and it's just going to take a bit longer, and I think most people understand this. So we'll just have to look forward to Axiom Verge 2 towards, I'm gonna say right now, second half of this year. None of this stuff is really set in stone, and Thomas Hapt here himself said, hey, I should have hedged a bit more. So let's just go with second half of 2021 for Axiom Verge 2, but it sounds like it'll at least be worth the wait, as it will be better for it. Before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, will Dragon Quest 12 get announced this week during the Dragon Quest live stream? This is pretty split. 44% said yes, 56% said no. And I saw in the comments, some of you said that it was kind of teased during the live stream before that kind of announced all of this, that there would be that game there. So yeah, I'm starting to get hyped for that, because I really like Dragon Quest 11. I thought it was awesome. And I mean, we're kind of coming up on that point, aren't we? We're like 3 or 4 years out. So you would figure, okay, maybe they've had enough time to at least get to the point where they can show the game, especially if they're continuing development on Unreal Engine. I'm just excited to find out what they have in store for us for the next big numbered Dragon Quest game, but they will also probably have some other announcements there as well. Some older Dragon Quest titles, I'm sure, could be shown off there, some remasters, remakes, any of that, and people even talked about Dragon Quest X maybe coming out of Japan and going to other regions. So a lot of exciting stuff here, and that's going to happen later on tonight. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Brian Turner saying, this must be a new record. He's not mentioned the Switch Pro in ages. There hasn't really been any substantial information around the Switch Pro. I think a lot of people are just in wait and see mode right now. I mean, sure, there could be some big story happening right now behind the scenes that's being created, and like Eurogamer's going to come out with information about the specs of the system from different sources they've been talking to. But for now, from what I've seen, there's been some social media managers occasionally mention the Switch. Like Genshin Impact was mentioned at one point by a Twitter account saying that the current Switch is having issues and they might be looking towards the Switch Pro as an exclusive or something. Like, that's, to me, not substantial enough to really put into a video like this, but I am looking forward to hearing more about this fabled Switch Pro, I guess later on this year, or who knows, maybe in 2022, or maybe you know what? 2024 might be our year. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here. There's all these live streams happening out of nowhere tomorrow from Sega, Sony, and Techland. And then what do you think the next big 3D Sonic game is gonna be? Let me know about that one down below. And then what do you think about Valve creating their own handheld gaming device that'll let you take your Steam library on the go? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.